Most NBA owners are concerned about stats like points and rebounds, but Los Angeles Clippers owner Steve Ballmer's newest project tackles numbers far beyond the basketball court. The former Microsoft CEO today is launching USAFacts, a comprehensive database for information about government. It combines federal, state, and local data from more than 50 government sources. The database provides an in-depth look at the American population, government finances, and the government's impact on society. Steve Ballmer returns to Studio 57 to discuss this first-of-its-kind project. Welcome.
Thanks, Norah. Pleasure to be here.
I mean, this is a massive endeavor. Why did you commit to do this?
Well, I got interested in the context of learning about, the way government serves kids who grow up in disadvantaged situations. And it was hard to find the numbers I was looking for. And I thought, geez, if it was a company, I'd look for the 10K.
Right.
And I couldn't find anything like that. Now, government's not a business. It's measured on its impact, not on its P&L. And I said, look, it's not just about finances. It's also about impact. The 10K format made sense to me. My curiosity took over. And eventually it seemed to make sense to share with others.
Yeah. I know a lot of people, very rich people, who will say to me, if I knew exactly where the money was spent, I'd be happy to pay more taxes. I don't know how to find out where the money goes.
Well, it takes a little bit of work, and there's more work to be done. I won't pretend we've got everything solved. There's more and more data that we'd like to add, more currency to the data, but you want to know about spending, Charlie? I would say a nice little picture here that, sort of straightens things out.
What's an example of what you uncovered in all this data?
Yeah. I mean, look, you want to look at the spend? It's right there.
Yeah.
Right.
There's the revenue. There's the spending.
Gotcha.
But why was it important to you, Steve? Because you said it's not about politics. This is just about giving people the facts, ma'am, nothing but the facts, like they used to say on Dragnet. So what were some of the things that surprised you, and why did you want to make sure that we all knew what the facts were?
Most important thing that surprised me is how hard it was to find this stuff in any digestible form. You do searches, you'll find various things. But if you wanted to, gems, the government employs 23.2 million people. Wow. I wouldn't have known that. The largest segment of sort of work in the government, teachers, professors, and people who work around schools. Almost half of all government employees basically are in the education system. That felt good to me, as an example. Fires. It's a silly one. It's a small one. But the number of fires over the last 37 years, because we go back to 1980 where we can, the number of fires is down 30 or 40% while the population's grown 40%. That's great.
What did you find out about guns?
We have a lot. We know about how many guns are made. We have a lot, because we only use government data, licensed, made, but the actual estimates of gun ownership, government's not allowed to participate in that under law.
Why?
Well, yeah.
One would presume that there was work done,
Somebody didn't want that
encouraging that with the legislation, with the Congress.
How much money goes to non-governmental organizations, people who are doing philanthropic work?
It's interesting. Officially, none. On the other hand, if you take a look, particularly at the money that goes into aid, what we call aid to the disadvantaged, a lot of that money gets essentially contracted out to not-for-profits. Sometimes they're community health clinics. Sometimes it would be, sort of an organization running a Head Start program, providing community services that provide social and emotional health services, which is a big issue amongst disadvantaged kids.
This is entirely nonpartisan.
Entirely nonpartisan. The numbers are the numbers. The one thing about numbers that makes them better than adjectives, adjectives can get partisan.
Yeah.
Numbers can't get partisan.
Yes.
Huge, small.
Yes.
Well, one number might be 10 and the other's 11.
Yeah.
But you can call those huge
Can't
and
change the
small
number.
if you want to.
How did you decide what facts you were going to put in your book?
What we did is we started with the structure of the Constitution. The preamble of the Constitution lays out the missions of government, and then we developed a structure for submissions, if you will, and then we started pouring numbers in. There'll be more things we want to add, but we had two goals. We wanted to be comprehensive. We wanted to have great context, because looking at numbers out of context, without any history, without any related numbers is tough. But we still want to be comprehensible. So we wanted to have a structure and let people then drill in as deep as they want to. I got asked a question earlier today. What does it cost to run the national park system? It is not in our database. On the other hand, we can tell you how many acres of land are in the national park system or managed by the National Forest Service. We have that. We'll continue to extend the database.
Didn't your lovely wife, Connie, play a role in this? She's with you today in the green room. Because didn't you wake up after Microsoft going, what am I going to do with my life? And she said, philanthropy. And you were like, Isn't that how that happened, Mr. Ballmer?
I was pretty tired after I retired. I thought, okay, I'll play a lot of golf, blah, blah, blah. And she said, no, you're going to pitch in here on our philanthropic and civic stuff. Because in a sense, at least in the social service area, philanthropy only goes so far, since most not-for-profits in this area are funded by government funds, at least in part. And she pushed me on it, and I said, oh, come on, but pay our taxes. That's the best way to take care of the poor, the young, the old. Because if we don't believe in our government, that's a bigger problem, actually, than anything we can do philanthropically. So I started to look at these topics and decided not only do you need to have a view of what government does do in this area, but what does government do with the rest of its money? What would it mean to increase taxes or decrease taxes? Because any program that you care about, at least in my view, you look at it as a whole. Just like you do in business. You don't say we're going to fund this and fund this and fund this. You got to actually have some sense of a budget.
Steve, game two.
Well,
tonight.
Oh, game two. But let me just one quick question
tonight.
about Microsoft. You are now, I understand it, the largest stockholder in Microsoft.
Yeah, I don't have to disclose my holdings. There may be a mutual fund or two, I think, Charlie, that are bigger, but yeah.
Individual.
Yeah, largest individual.
What influence are you having on the company?
Well, I'm largely focused elsewhere, although whenever in the USAFacts product creation, we're using Azure, we're trying to figure out how to use some of the Microsoft visualization tools. So I'll shoot a little feedback back to Microsoft on various product questions and topics, and we're talking a little bit about the future of entertainment. I bring the context of basketball, but where does virtual reality, augmented reality fit in? So we're doing some work, and I love talking to them.
What
Can I
excites you
please
most
talk
about the
about
future?
game two? Because they said we got to go.
Okay, go ahead.
I just want to know about game two because you're going to be courtside tonight. Half the fun of going to a Clippers game, which we've been to, is watching you, Steve. Do you ever say, I'm just going to sit here quietly and just enjoy the game?
I cannot sit there quietly enjoy the. I can enjoy the game, but not quietly. And actually, I get graded oftentimes.
Do you?
Yeah, DeAndre Jordan comes up to me occasionally after a game and said, "You weren't there tonight. You didn't bring your game." So I've heard that feedback at least from one of our guys.
Every time I've seen an A++, haven't
Who
you?
are the Clippers? Yes. Who are the Clippers playing tonight?
We got the Jazz, second game of our playoff series. We got a lot of work to do tonight. If we play fast and we play with the right spirit, we're going to win this puppy tonight.
Go Chris Paul.
Yeah.
Go Clippers.
Yeah.
We believe, Steve. We
Well, thank you,
believe.
Steve. The facts are back.
Thank you for coming back.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for joining us at the table.